Hey friends, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again tonight. Before we start, if you like this type of content, liking and subscribing really help keep this going. Also, drop in the comments what other game or series you'd like to listen to in the future. I tend to listen to these myself, quite often. Tonight, we walk straight into the fog, the birth of the Shroud, how Elixir's miracle became a quiet disaster, how the mist learned our routines, and how the flame teaches the world to remember. Think of Elixir's story as a simple timeline you could sketch on a napkin. Discovery, refinement, expansion, complacency, and then consequences. It begins with people finding a pale liquid in deep seams underground that seemed to help with almost anything. It cooled machines. It eased pain without confusion. It made long shifts bearable. Measured in small, careful drops, it behaved. The first mistake was assuming it would behave forever, even when taken from more places and used for more tasks. So extraction widened. New wells opened. Refineries rose where there used to be fields. At each step, the numbers looked good. Output per shift, recoveries per day, efficiency per worker. When numbers look good for long enough, people stop asking why. That silence is where the problem grew. Elixir had a pattern. It responded well to sound and rhythm, especially the tones engineers used to stabilize engines and clean hospital wards. The city piped these tones into the places where Elixir was stored and moved. Tanks, pipes, and valves took on the hum, and the liquid settled as if it had been taught good manners. Workers liked that. It made the system smoother. Over time, the hum became part of daily life. People matched their breath to it without noticing. They kept time with it while turning wrenches or writing charts. That habit taught Elixir more than they meant to teach. Anything that can be tuned can also learn the tune. The city wanted compliance, and it got it, so completely that it missed the moment the compliance became something else. The first visible change was a breath of mist at a wellhead after a long shift. Not an explosion, just a low sigh that left a thin layer of fog at boot height. People walked through it, coughed, and kept working. Reports were filed, but nothing urgent. The next shifts noticed small comforts that hadn't been requested. Stairs felt gentler underfoot. Doors pushed back less. The air in some rooms held a pleasant stillness. This felt harmless. No one argues with a softer step or a door that swings easier. But these small changes built a habit of acceptance. When a city gets used to being made comfortable by something it does not control, it starts to outsource its judgment. That is how the Shroud entered daily life. People named it because names help. Shroud fit on forms and in sentences. Teams built stone basins to collect it where it pooled. Flame pylons were installed at key crossings so anyone could lay a palm on warm stone and feel steady again. For a while, that worked. The fog was drawn into the basins, the pylons kept neighborhoods clear, people timed errands and market days around pylon maintenance because they noticed the air felt best right after the technicians finished. This success sent a message. The city had the right tools, and those tools would keep working. The tools did keep working, but the fog paid attention. It pressed against the pylons and learned their rhythms. It moved along basin walls and learned where pressure was applied and where it was allowed to relax. It reached the intake pipes at refineries and learned the exact temperatures that made Elixir easiest to handle. It wasn't clever in a human way. It was thorough. Given enough repetition, it understood the routine better than the people who wrote it. The Shroud grew in the spaces people didn't look at for long. Carpet pile in stairwells, gaps under doors, storage rooms kept for later. At first, it offered comfort. Handrails felt pleasant to the touch. Bread kept longer than it should. Loud machinery ran with less grind. Then the comfort went past the line where comfort stops being helpful. Handrails seemed to pulse. Bread stopped forming a proper crust. Machines ran too quietly, and workers felt their eyelids get heavy. Healers noticed that patients did best in rooms with noise, kettles rattling lids, brushes on tile, doors that creaked clearly. Silence helped the fog. Sound helped people. That is a simple rule worth remembering. Below ground, wells tightened into spirals. Each ring dropped lower than the last, like a ramp without railings. The rock changed from simple stone to something that looked like rind. The air smelled sweet and heavy. Crews tied themselves to lines and went down. Some came back speaking in short sentences, as if longer ones took too much effort. They said the rock felt as if it breathed. They said there was a slow-moving mass at the center that could wait longer than any person could. These reports were logged and marked for confirmation. Confirmation means another trip. Another trip means more time. The Shroud used that time. The city escalated. Flame grids were brightened until some nights looked almost like mornings. Intakes were caged with resonant frames. Water systems were tuned so opposing currents created a healthy noise. Hospitals got scrubbers that thumped with a steady beat to keep the air honest. The fog gave ground in those places and thickened in others. Closets, attics, back rooms with old clothes and older memories. Corners where people put later and forgot. The Shroud flowed to hollows. You can push it with machines, but hollows invite it back the moment the push ends. That is why doors and voices matter. A room in use is a room with edges the fog cannot sand away. At some point, someone said a simple sentence in a planning room. "We have taught it too much of us." The answer from a healer was just as simple. Then, we have to teach it what we refuse to be. This wasn't a speech. It was a change in daily instructions. Keep doors open by day and latch them by night. Keep kitchens busy with ordinary work. Sleep at proper hours so dreams don't have to carry more than they should. Hold markets on a schedule that makes sense. And hold them even when the fog tries to offer something easier. These are not hero moves. They are normal moves done on purpose. The city needed a habit, not a headline. Even with these habits, the Shroud showed one more rule. It reset structures, not time, structures. A fallen creature reformed from a pattern the fog remembered. A root pulled from a well left a hole that tried to seal itself in smoothness. This can be treated as a game mechanic. In the story, it means the fog likes to wipe away marks. It doesn't want to argue, it wants to erase. So the answer cannot be a single event. It has to be repetition. A door warmed today. A hinge oiled tomorrow. An altar touched at dawn and again at dusk. The fog can erase a mark. It struggles to erase a relationship built by a pattern repeated in public. This is where the Flameborn matter. They are not introduced as a charge down a hill. They arrive like careful staff opening a building that has been closed too long. One hand on an altar, one breath matched to the low tone that steadies a room. One hinge set right. One field tested at the edge of the fog to see what grows. The Shroud resists big gestures more easily than it resists small, constant ones. When a Flameborn walks the same fence line with a farmer every morning, the fog can't convincingly rewrite that line. When a caravan comes every third day with ankle bells ringing a distinct two-note pattern, the fog can't hum over it without showing itself. Daily life becomes a net with tight knots. The wider you make that net, the fewer places the fog can collect. If we zoom in on people, the picture gets clearer. A midwife moves her practice to an old bathhouse because the steady noise of boiling water covers the fog's hush. She times deliveries for when the flame pylon nearest her door has just been tuned. She teaches families to keep a pot at a light simmer in the next room, not for heat, but for sound, and to talk softly but constantly during long nights so the fog has no quiet to slip into. A weaver sets her loom by a cracked window on purpose because a draft that changes hour by hour proves time is moving. She refuses perfect indoor air that does not shift. A mason leaves a small scuff on the last stone of a wall, not as damage, but as a signature, a mark a person made and can make again. These acts seem small. They add up to a culture where the Shroud has fewer ways to blend in. Now picture 3 places as quick snapshots, before and after. First, a market square. Before, loud bargaining, carts rattling, kids weaving between stalls, simple songs from sellers. After the Shroud settles, produce that looks fresh too long. Flavors that fade, footsteps that soften, voices that drop. The fix is not complicated. Bring the noise back, hold the market on schedule. Do not trust the fruit that never bruises. People learn to choose the orange with a mark over the perfect one because the marked one is real. Second, a school. Before, chalk dust, scraped benches, a bell with a reliable ring. After, chalk lines that won't erase, lessons that write themselves, a bell that rings too smooth. The fix: let the bell ring with a human hand, erase the board firmly with a brush that makes a clear sound, open windows so outside air resets the room. Third, a refinery. Before, machines with a familiar vibration, gauges that twitch and settle, voices raised over the din. After, instruments that always land in the green, machines that run quiet, workers breathing in rhythm with something they didn't choose. The fix: break the sync. Vary shifts. Retune the frames on a changing schedule. Make the reading honest again, even if it looks messier. We can walk a descent into a spiral well once, slowly, to make the deep rule clear without confusion. You gear up, anchor your line, step onto the ramp. The walls are damp, not with liquid you can wipe away, but with a skin-like feel. The air is sweet enough to notice and heavy enough to slow your breath. Lights from the surface fade, and a cold glow takes their place. It is not bright, it is just enough. Every few turns, you stop and listen. You hear your own breath. You hear small rocks shift. If you hear a smooth hum, you turn back, because that hum means the fog knows you are there and would prefer you silent. When you reach the center, you do not see a single creature. You see movement in many small places at once, like a field of grass bending in a steady wind. You do not speak to it. You do not bargain. You set the flame's tone where the rock accepts it, and you hold steady until the air tastes normal again. Then you leave the way you came. The lesson is not complicated. Go in with care, do the specific task well, and get out before the fog convinces you to linger. It helps to keep a short list of rules that anyone can follow, especially tired people at the end of a long day. Keep rooms active in the day and clearly quiet at night. Make sounds that belong to work and care. Touch the altars on a regular schedule. Prefer the slightly imperfect object you can trace to a real hand over the perfect one that feels like a trick. Keep calendars and use them. Count people out loud when moving in fog-prone areas. Tie a bell if you must pass through a thick patch alone. Leave notes that say where you're going and when you'll be back. These are not charms. They are the shape of a life that leaves fewer gaps. There is one more useful angle: how the city reached for the wrong type of fix and how it learned to reach for a better one. The wrong fix was always more. Brighter grids, tighter cages, longer shifts. These solutions treated the fog like a single event to overpower. The better fix was clearer, steady routines, honest noise, marks that proved a person had been there, windows that proved the outside still existed. More tired people out. Clearer brought people back into the work at a pace they could keep. That is why the flame-born approach focuses on repeatable tasks. It trusts a clean habit over a dramatic gesture. This is not a hopeless world. It is a tired world that responds well to steady care. When the fog tries to reset a place, it usually starts by smoothing everything: surfaces, sounds, even the way air moves. The flame does the opposite. It restores edges. It brings back the squeak in the hinge, the scrape of a brush, the shape of a day that starts and ends at sensible times. You can hear the difference as soon as you walk into a room that has been tended. The room tells you what it is for, and your body believes it. That is how people stay themselves inside a system that tried to absorb them. If you're listening to this while you wind down after a long shift, the takeaway is simple. The Shroud spread because it made things easy in the worst way, by removing the small frictions that prove you're alive and doing the task. The way back is easy to remember, even when you're tired. Keep the door moving on its hinge. Keep a pot at a gentle simmer in quiet hours. Visit the altar and press your palm to stone. Choose the apple with a bruise. Say hello and say when you'll be back. Walk the route again tomorrow. The fog prefers gaps. Your routine is how you take those gaps away. That is the full, clear shape of the Shroud's beginning, a helpful tool used too widely, a mist that learned our habits, a city that taught it too much by repeating the same tune, and a correction built on small, honest acts, repeated until they hold. We won't fight our way through this in one night. We will practice our way through it, day by day, until rooms remember themselves and streets lead somewhere.